The criminal justice system is intended to protect society from those who pose a danger, ensuring that individuals who commit serious offenses are appropriately dealt with. However, sometimes flaws in the system lead to tragic outcomes, as seen in the case of Mark Beebout. This story is not just about the heinous crimes committed by Beebout, but also a reflection on the failures within the justice system that allowed him to be released prematurely, leading to the death of 2 innocent women. Mark Beebout's history is largely shrouded in mystery, but what is known paints a picture of a man with a deeply troubled past. Originally from California, Beebout lived a transient life, often moving from place to place. His criminal record began early, with a particularly egregious crime shortly before the main events of the story. Beebout was convicted of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl in California. At the time of this assault, Beebout was in his 30s, a grown man preying on a vulnerable teenager. Despite the severity of his crime, Beebout received only a brief sentence and was required to register as a sex offender, a common mandate for individuals convicted of such crimes. However, Beebout defied this legal requirement, deciding to skip California altogether. He moved to Astoria, Oregon, without notifying the authorities in California, as he was legally required to do. Moreover, he failed to register as a sex offender in Oregon, further evading the law. This evasion of responsibility would soon have dire consequences. Upon arriving in Astoria, Oregon, Beebout met a woman named Amy Lewis in November 2010. The two quickly became a couple, but the relationship was far from healthy. What initially seemed like a normal relationship soon took a dark turn. Beebout became both sexually and physically abusive towards Amy, who found herself trapped in a cycle of violence and fear. The abuse was so severe that Amy eventually managed to break free from Beebout's grip and sought help from the courts in Oregon. She filed a restraining order against him, a legal step intended to protect her from further harm. However, Beebout was a manipulative man, and he somehow managed to convince Amy to drop the restraining order. Perhaps he promised change or preyed on her vulnerabilities. But whatever the case, Amy approached the courts to have the order lifted. Fortunately, the courts recognized the danger Beebout posed and refused to allow the restraining order to be dropped. This decision, while protective, was not enough to prevent the tragedy that would soon unfold. As Beebout continued his life in the Clatsop County area of Oregon, his past began to catch up with him. Authorities discovered his history of sexual assaults, and more critically, that he had failed to register as a sex offender both in California and Oregon. In response, Beebout was arrested. However, this arrest did not result in a lengthy jail sentence, as one might expect. Instead, Beebout was quickly released and placed on 2 years of probation. The reason for this leniency was not due to any mitigating factors in his favor, but rather because of the severe overcrowding in the prison system. Beebout, recognizing the opportunity to escape justice once again, fled Astoria and made his way to Portland, Oregon. In Portland, he attempted to evade detection, but his past was never far behind. The Portland police arrested him on a separate charge and discovered that he had violated the terms of his probation by leaving Clatsop County. He was returned to Clatsop County and placed in jail once again. However, his time behind bars would be short-lived. In what can only be described as a tragic decision, the Clatsop County Jail, struggling with overcrowding, decided to release Beebout after just 2 or 3 days of incarceration. This decision would have deadly consequences. Despite being a known sex offender with a history of violence, Beebout was deemed safe enough to be released back into society. He was still facing charges and was required to appear in court on June 13, 2012, but predictably, he did not show up. By then, Beebout had fled Clatsop County once more, returning to Portland, where his violent tendencies would manifest again. In Portland, Beebout found his way into a homeless facility, a place that was supposed to be a safe haven for those in need. It was here that he met Michaela Powell, a 32-year-old woman with a compassionate heart. Michaela was a volunteer at the facility, dedicating 3 nights a week to helping the homeless community. She served them coffee, provided meals, and created a welcoming environment where they could rest, watch movies, and play games. Michaela's kindness extended to all those she met, including Beebout. Tragically, Michaela's compassion would be her undoing. She allowed Beebout, a man she likely saw as just another person in need, to stay at her apartment. In doing so, she unknowingly invited a predator into her home. Not long after this, Michaela went missing. Her disappearance prompted an investigation, and police soon discovered that Beebout was the last person to have been with her. When they apprehended him on July 19, 2012, in Seattle, Washington, they found Michaela's credit cards and food stamps in his possession. The discovery of these items confirmed the worst fears of those who knew Michaela. Upon searching Michaela's apartment, police made a gruesome discovery. Michaela's body was found partially decomposed, with a shoelace tied around her neck. She had been dead for several days. An autopsy revealed that Michaela had been sexually assaulted and strangled to death. The woman who had dedicated her life to helping others had been brutally murdered by the very person she sought to assist. As police delved deeper into Beebout's activities, they began to suspect that Michaela Powell was not his only victim. On June 26, 2012, a few weeks before Michaela's body was discovered, the body of a young woman had been found in Washington Park in Portland. The victim had no identification on her, but police estimated that she was either in her late teens or early 20s. After a thorough investigation, they identified her as 15-year-old Myra Sophia Cruz Rodriguez, a runaway from Vancouver, Washington. Beebout led Myra to Washington Park, where he sexually assaulted and murdered her. With the evidence mounting against him, Beebout's fate was sealed. DNA evidence found on Myra's body matched Beebout, confirming his role in her murder. He was charged with multiple offenses, including aggravated murder, first-degree sexual assault, first-degree sodomy, and first-degree sex abuse. Additionally, he was charged with theft for stealing a vehicle. In early 2013, Beebout appeared in court and confessed to both murders. He was convicted on all charges and sentenced to 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole. The case of Mark Beebout is a tragic reminder of the flaws in the criminal justice system, particularly regarding prison overcrowding. Beebout, a known sex offender with a history of violence, should never have been released. The decision to let him go not only cost the lives of Michaela Powell and Myra Sophia Cruz Rodriguez, but also shattered the lives of their families and friends. If you found this story compelling and want to stay informed about similar cases, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to never miss an update. Your support helps us continue to share important stories like this one. Thank you for watching.